Now, the company, the famous brand of Dyson, has not had the same problems with productivity as many other parts of the market, and we're going to talk about that now because we're joined by Sir James Dyson, the founder of that company, which sets up as a byword for innovation. He's with us now. James, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
So, let's talk first of all about one of the aspects of productivity, which is particularly important to you now, and that is women in engineering, which you are now very keen to promote. Tell us, first of all, about that. Is there a huge disparity in engineering when it comes to women and men?
Well, yes. I mean, only 10% of the engineering workforce are women. We're trying to change that. I mean, in our university, Dyson University, we have here on campus, 41% of the undergraduates are female. Which is double the national average. And it's really important. I mean, we're missing out on female talent and we're missing out on the female point of view about products. Yes. Really important for us since a lot of our products are used by women.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a subject which comes up pretty regularly, doesn't it? Now, why, in your view, as you study the subject, why the disparity? Why are so few women going into the field of engineering?
Well, actually, there's an even greater problem, which is very few people are going into the field of engineering and science. We're underproducing engineers and scientists at a really alarming rate. I mean, we produce 38,000 engineers a year. China produces 1.2 million, India 880,000, and even the Philippines 87,000, more than twice what we produce. The result of this is that we're not a technology nation any longer. We're just not producing technological products to export to the world.
But women in particular,
really serious problem.
Yeah, just analyze. Give me your own potted analysis of the reason why women are not attracted to an area which needs more people of quality and talent overall.
Well, part of the problem is that engineering is not taught at school, and design and technology as a subject has declined enormously because it's been made far less important than it was. It's now not really considered a valid O level of GCSE or A level. And that's a great shame. It's been downgraded to the level of cookery. And cookery is fine, but I mean, it doesn't create exports and technology. 90% of the engineers at our university did design and technology at school. We've tried to reverse this decline of design and technology in schools by working with schools, by providing boxes with equipment in them. But the problem is really the lack of national interest in it. And there's a huge lack of national interest in engineering, or even developing new science. We talk about the importance of decarbonizing and building electric cars and all those sort of things, but we're not prepared to be engineers and be scientists and solve all these problems. And they're lovely problems to solve. Why aren't young people interested in solving the problems?
Yes,
they appear to be more interested in talking about it than going out and solving it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a problem that you have identified before. You have prizes for innovation and invention in engineering, which is obviously important to improving performance across the industry.
Yes, I mean the other thing is that I don't think people realize what an exciting career engineering is. Solving the world's problems, making products that use less water, fewer materials, less electricity, yet perform better. It's a really, really exciting profession, but it's never portrayed like that.
Yeah, well, it's part. You've made it part of your mission. Let me just ask you a bit about you. I saw you'd reached number 2 in the Sunday Times. You personally and your family, number 2 in the Sunday Times Rich List. Your family fortune put there at £23 billion. So congratulations on that. You must be doing something right, I guess. I mean, how important is personal wealth to you, James? Tell me.
Well, no, I'm interested in developing technology and making exciting products and building up a wonderful team of scientists and engineers around me to enable us to do this. That's what I find exciting and interesting. And as you have quite rightly pointed out, by the way, I'm backed up by 147 PhDs on our campus here and lots of other scientists and engineers. But the point you're making is that developing technology creates wealth. Which is exactly the point. We need to create wealth as a nation by producing technology and exporting it around the world. And that's all I'm doing.
Yeah, tell me about
Very simple formula.
your company's place in the world. I mean, you've marked out a very distinctive position, and we all remember. I mean, you quite apart from the brand that you founded, you became a great champion of Brexit, didn't you? And now here in the UK, there's a huge public discourse in the media and elsewhere. Lots of comments, not just from former supporters of remaining in the EU, but some of those who supported leaving too, about the way Brexit is panning out. Not everyone's happy about that. Tell me your feelings about that. 6 years on from the Brexit referendum, James.
Oh, well, I think it's fine. We're independent. I mean, we developed the vaccine independently, and we should do a lot more of that kind of thing. We're a great trading nation, international trading nation, right across the world, and we have every opportunity to do that now. We're out of the EU. I mean, I wish a lot of the EU regulation had gone away, and the need to conform to European standards to free us to make products for the world, not just for Europe.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll happen. But I think it's a psychological shift. We're on our own. We're not under the influence and power of Europe. We can make our own destiny and do our own things in our own way. And that's for me, it's a psychological change.
A psychological change. You sound very optimistic, because now we're hearing opponents of Brexit from the Times saying it hasn't worked out, supporters of Brexit saying the opportunities are simply not being realised, and yet you seem to be satisfied with the course of events. I mean, are you happy with the way things are going, or do you feel it will work out as promised and as hoped later on down the line?
Well, I think, yes, I really do think it will work out, because we're independent, we're on our own, we can control our own destiny, and we know we've got to do that. And I think we just have to be a bit patient about it. As I said, a change of attitude. But I do wish we separated ourselves more and weren't under the European courts, weren't under European regulations and standards, and could conform much more to a global norm rather than a European norm.
I wonder then what your feelings are about another big issue on the political agenda now, which is the prospect, I don't say certainty, but the prospect of a possible trade war with Europe over Northern Ireland and the Brexit agreement as it relates to trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Are you concerned about that? It will have, won't it, if it comes to that, or even before it comes to any trade conflict, there'll be an impact on business, there'll be an impact on investment, there'll be an impact on imports and exports. What are your thoughts?
I don't think the EU would be crazy enough to have a trade war. But look, I mean, what we really need are more engineers. We need to develop more technology. We can export to the global markets. I mean, the rapidly growing Far Eastern market, which we're very big in, it's a really important market. And Europe's a fairly static market, whereas other markets overseas globally are much expanding very quickly. So I think if we can develop technology, have more engineers, more scientists, develop more technology and export to the world, we'll create wealth and be a much richer nation.
Yes, I mean there were lots of ifs ahead of those things, and the progress that we are making now in negotiating trade deals around the world. Can you say you're completely satisfied with that? I mean, America, for example, the prospects of what was seen to be an important trade deal with the US seems to have receded, not advanced.
Yes, I don't know the details of that, but we should certainly have a trade deal with America. I'm sure America wants one.
Yeah, well, again, I guess the issue has been rather bound up in the politics of the Brexit deal. While you're here, James, and again, good of you to join us on the program this afternoon. You'll have seen what's going on the industrial scene here. We are now seeing the beginning of what could become a wave of strikes in the private and especially in the public sector, which so many people, including the Prime Minister, are comparing to the bad old days of the 1970s. As you look at that situation, what are your thoughts? Because the British public are very split on this.
Yeah, I just come back to this point that if we were wealthy as a nation, these things would matter far less. If we were a major exporter of technology, I mean, Singapore, for example, is the second largest exporter of technology in the world. Very small nation of 6 people, where 40% of the graduates are engineers or scientists, whereas it's 4% in our case. If we concentrated much more on the creation of wealth, then we would all be wealthy. We wouldn't be so worried about being, the cost of living crisis.
So what is just lastly then, what is the formula? What is the trick? What is the magic word that would switch our approach and our performance when it comes to the creation of wealth? Could you put your finger on it?
Very, very simply, I think I've been making the point all through the interview that if we realized how important technology was, how important it is that children would love to be engineers, love to be scientists, that creating technology is really, really important, and exporting technology is really, really important, then I think we solve all our problems, just as Singapore has. It decided 60 years ago, it separated from Malaysia, it had nothing. It said education is really important. We're going to spend a lot of money on education and we're going to create lots of engineers and scientists. And it's created huge wealth for them. And they don't have a cost of living crisis.
All right. James Dyson, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.